The following program is sponsored by CBN.
Coming up, a change of heart.
I miss that.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
The only thing that gave me hope was when she walked in.
Hear what saved this marriage.
Our marriage now, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
And then, a CIA recruit who was sent to the world's most dangerous places as an undercover spy. One former agent reveals how she sniffed out terrorists on today's 700 Club.
Well, welcome, folks, to this edition of the 700 Club. Will he or won't he? That's the question. Is the president going to shut the government down? I think no. And some of these voices on the right that have been so strident don't know what it's like to run a country. And I think it's time our president can listen to the voice of reason. We cannot shut our government down, so we hope everything's going to go well in these negotiations, even if he doesn't get everything he's looking for this border wall. The other thing that I understand, we're maybe a few weeks away from this Mueller investigation wrapping up, possibly before, what is this, St. Patrick's Day? Is that
yes, it's coming.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, then St. Patrick's Day.
Well, okay, well, it's not the Valentine's Day, which is almost upon us, but that's, no, in about a week from now, so that should be the end of the Mueller investigation. What does he do? He gives his report to the Attorney General, and then the Attorney General decides what to do with it. But that will be the end of that so-called witch hunt that has cost millions of dollars, and we'll see what happens. But in the middle of all that, our national debt is now at a record high. It's $22 trillion. Government spending is out of control. And the latest proposals from Democrats will only make it worse. We're going to talk about what they are proposing that will absolutely horrify you. Terry.
The new Green Deal or the Green New Deal and Medicare for All will cost trillions more dollars. To fund these programs, some Democrats are calling for drastically higher taxes. As Jennifer Wishon explains, that will only do more damage.
For every dollar some Americans make, there is a growing number of Democrats here in Washington who want to cut 50, 70, even 90% to help fund new government programs. From Senator Elizabeth Warren's ultra-millionaire tax and Julian Castro citing 90% tax rates to the new Democrat darling's proposal of 70% rates for the very top earners, ensuring the government gets a greater cut from America's wealthiest is becoming as stylish among Democrats as those pink Women's March hats. The goal is to fund new programs like Medicare for All, free college tuition, and close the gap between America's rich and poor, what Democrats call income inequality. While the party's progressive left supports these plans, others say they wouldn't work. Possible independent presidential candidate Howard Schultz calls Warren's plan ridiculous. Even the Washington Post editorial board criticized it. And economist Stephen Moore tells CBN News there's a major problem with Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez's high income taxes.
So, you know, when Alexandria Cortez talks about, oh, the good old days when we had 70, 80, 90% tax rate, guess what, Congresswoman? Nobody paid those taxes. Nobody paid 70, 80, 90% tax rates. I mean, because rich people would hire tax accountants, would find ways for them to avoid paying taxes at all.
In 2018, the first year of the Trump tax cuts, the government took in more tax money than ever before. One reason? Many of those loopholes many wealthy taxpayers used to pay less closed. Moore fears rising tax rates would kill American competitiveness because the same companies creating jobs and setting employment records would once again send their business to China. Plus, Moore thinks taking more than half of what a citizen makes is not only bad for the economy, it's contrary to the American dream.
I really believe tax rates that when they reach 50, 60, 70, 80%, that's immoral. You know, if you make twice as much money as I do, you should probably pay twice as much income tax, but not 5 times more or 10 times more.
If some of these tax plans were enacted, President Trump says America would look more like Venezuela.
That was the richest state in all of that area. That's a big, beautiful area, and by far the richest. And now it's one of the poorest places in the world. That's what socialism gets you, when they want to raise your taxes to 70%.
A race to the highest tax rates wasn't always popular among Democrats. Remember, it was a Democrat Congress that helped President Reagan pass his tax cuts. And before Reagan, another president cut taxes, a Democrat.
The most famous Democrat who argued for lower tax rates was of course, John F. Kennedy. You know, one of our most revered presidents who, you know, when he came into office, we had 90% tax rates, and he slashed those tax rates because he said, guess what? This is going to help our economy if we get tax rates lower.
One thing we can count on is the addition of more and more creative tax plans as we inch closer to the presidential election in 2020. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Thanks. You hear some of those Democratic hopefuls saying, well, the rich should pay their, quote, fair share. Well, what is a fair share when they already pay more than anybody could conceive of, and they probably 1% pays about 40, 50, 60% of all of our tax revenue. And, you know, if there was a confiscatory policy that literally took all the wealth from all the rich people in America, it still wouldn't run the government more than a week or so. I mean, the government is wasting money in ways that you cannot conceive. And this fact that we're at $22 trillion deficit, and why soak the wage earners to pay for more of that profligate spending? It makes no sense whatsoever. And what we realized was that our corporate tax was higher than almost any other developed nation on earth. And by bringing it in line, it means that our businesses are more competitive. If you have higher taxes, then there's not enough money to invest in wages, not enough money to invest in capital goods, not enough money to invest in productivity. And what our businesses have to be is productive and be able to bring out the lowest possible cost for their products, or else China will, or one of the others, third world countries will take the business. I mean, it only makes sense. And these people who are sounding so socialist, it'll destroy the country. And what the president says is absolutely right. You've got a socialist country, Venezuela, with inflation rate now over 1,000,000%. It's unbelievable, the poverty that has been visited on that country through pure socialism. It just doesn't work. And I hope and pray the American people will realize that this is a pipe dream, but free education for everybody, free health care for everybody, free everything else that they want for everybody. I mean, they name it down the line, Medicare for all, tuition for all.
And then let everybody who wants to come and take advantage of it.
Oh, you're exactly right. They'll all come flooding in if you open the doors. So if you have all these goodies, you've got to build, you talk about walls, you've got to have walls everywhere, because everybody will come in to get the goodies from America. The less we have to offer, the fewer people who want to come in. Anyhow, in other news, President Trump still hasn't committed to the latest budget proposal to keep the government open. John Jessup has more on that.
That's right, Pat. The proposal falls far short of the $5.7 billion the president wanted for a border wall. But Republican leaders in Congress are urging him to take the deal, and it appears he might just do that to avoid a government shutdown.
I have to study it. I'm not happy about it. It's not doing the trick, but I'm adding things to it. I don't think you're going to see a shutdown. I wouldn't want to go to it now.
I think he's got a pretty good deal here.
The deal includes $1.4 billion for about 55 miles of steel border barriers. The president did say that no matter what, the wall will be built, even if the funds have to come from elsewhere. Still, some conservatives are calling it a bad deal and say he shouldn't take it. Well, the president is calling on Representative Ilhan Omar to resign from Congress for her anti-Semitic tweet. The Muslim congresswoman suggested pro-Israel lawmakers are influenced by money from AIPAC, a lobbying group that supports the Jewish state. But AIPAC does not make campaign contributions. Omar later apologized after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and others demanded she do so. Tuesday, President Trump said the apology isn't enough, adding, at the very least, Omar should be removed from a powerful committee influencing U.S. foreign policy.
Anti-Semitism has no place in the United States Congress. And Congressman Omar is terrible, what she said. And I think she should either resign from Congress or she should certainly resign from the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
And critics say Speaker Pelosi should follow the example of House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who stripped GOP Congressman Steve King of his committee assignments after making racist comments about white supremacy last month. Well, the latest winter storm dumped dangerous snow and ice from Chicago to New York, leaving more than 100,000 people without power and causing dangerous travel conditions. As Charlene Aaron reports, this wild winter weather is far from over.
The powerful winter storms are wreaking havoc across the country, making for snarled air travel and dangerous road conditions. Snow, ice, and sleet piling on streets from coast to coast, leaving more than 100,000 people without power.
The situation with the groundhog pronouncing winter was over didn't really fly.
Up to 9 inches of snow and ice blanketing areas from Philly to New York and Boston.
It's very scary, slippery out. I have no traction.
In the Midwest, dangerous travel on the highways. In Iowa, some were stuck overnight on ice-covered roads. In Chicago, sleet and freezing rain created slippery conditions as half an inch of ice accumulated on parking lots, roads, driveways, and sidewalks.
Just breaking up a path here. It helps to have an icebreaker to get the ice out and then throw some salt down.
Road crews in multiple states are struggling to keep up with the travel nightmare.
Based on the temperatures right now, we're not exactly sure how the salt's going to work.
After this winter's bitter cold temperatures, multiple snowstorms, and treacherous roadways, many can't wait for warmer weather.
I have 4 kids, and to prep to get them to school, it's very hard to get out here. So I'm waiting for spring to just come around.
Unfortunately, says Bastardi, winter is far from over.
I think this is the beginning of an onslaught of storms here through mid-March. Various tracks. It's a constant parade that's going to be going on here over the next month or so. We get to mid-March, then we'll break the thing. And I do think it will be a less than normal tornado season. How's that for some good news?
More than 2,500 flights have been canceled nationwide, and more than 5,000 have been delayed, caused by this latest winter assault. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Thanks, Charlene. And get this, snow has also hit Hawaii on the island of Maui at 6,200 feet in a state park. Hawaiian officials say that could be the lowest elevation snow has ever been recorded in the state, and more is expected tonight into Thursday. Well, turning overseas, Pat, back to you.
I just want to comment, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard about global warming. We've been worried about global warming. Greenland is going to lose its ice sheet. The oceans are going to flood Manhattan, and it goes on and on and on. And this is the great crisis facing America. And what is it? What are we having? Where are these prognosticators?
Well, the ones who were correct, that was the Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah.
They said we were going to have one of the coldest winters ever. And it's, it started out so mild. Many of us were saying, well, they were wrong about that. But boy, when it took a turn, it was fierce.
Terry, there are sunspots that affect our weather tremendously. There are the ocean temperatures, the El Nino and the La Nina that are out there in the Pacific. Joe Bastardi is following several trends that he predicted a series of storms that were cold, and he said the groundhog was wrong. he didn't see his shadows it would have an early spring. No way. But what these people want to do, they want to take control of our economy. That's what it's all about. All this Green Deal and everything else is to take over the productive economy of America and ruin America and reduce it to the status of a third world country. And we are not going to do that. But anyhow, let's go over to the Middle East where there's some serious suffering. John?
That's right, Pat. The Islamic State once controlled an area the size of Great Britain across Syria and Iraq. Now they've been pushed back to barely 2 square kilometers. And Defense Department officials say the end of the terror group's reign is only days away. CBN contributor Chuck Holton is on the front lines in Syria and brings us this report.
Here in southern Syria, within sight of the Iraqi border, U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces have set the stage for the last stand of the ISIS caliphate in that country. The fighting has been brutal, and while the SDF have tried to evacuate civilians from the battle space, ISIS has thwarted those efforts by using up to 10,000 civilians as human shields. For those who do escape, however, their ordeal is far from over.
So this is the Syrian Defense Forces checkpoint about a mile from what they call the forward line of troops, the front lines against ISIS that are off that direction. They have walked to this point after getting across ISIS lines. These women are in terribly bad shape. Some of them wounded. The children are obviously dehydrated, malnourished, and sick. And they're receiving some kind of initial treatment here. The difficulty is that they've had a problem with many of these women actually wearing suicide vests, and they had 5 blow themselves up in one day. And so it's kind of a tense situation being here. They've already been checked by some of the female SDF soldiers, but we've still got to, just be careful and hope that these women love their children enough that they're not going to do anything stupid like that.
But between the front line and the nearest refugee camp, there's nothing but more than 200 miles of arid Syrian desert. No food, water, or shelter. Into this gap is stepping a group of Christians who make it their mission to travel to front lines around the globe and help people at their point of greatest need. They are the Free Burma Rangers, and their founder, Dave Eubank, has been working on the front lines in this region since 2015.
God is sending a mighty river into Syria of his spirit to change things. And I said, we're not a river, man, we're a drop. And he said, we're all drops in God's rain, and it forms a river. And you and I may not live to see the day of change, but it's coming because God cares about these people.
All right, we're here to rescue. A former U.S. Army Special Forces officer, Eubank has seen much of war. So have his ethnic medics, who grew up in the conflict zone in Burma and have used their skills here to save many lives. From Dave's perspective on the ground, he says pulling out of Syria would be the worst thing the U.S. can do.
The military side, they've done a great job, and they're doing a great job. They need to stay and complete that, and stay to keep this space open. But humanitarian, there's a huge gap. The humanitarian gap from the front line to, for example, the nearest hospital, 4 hours. So you could be shot up there and then take a whole day to cross, another day to get here, then 4 more hours before you get to a hospital. So what the U.S. could do, practically, is set up field hospitals to support the Syrian Democratic Forces to improve their ability to save lives.
Those who arrive here are often gravely injured, like this taxi driver whose home was hit by a bomb as he and his family were sleeping.
At 3 in the morning, our house was destroyed, and there were 23 of us inside.
Only Salam, one son, and a daughter made it out alive. But even before that tragedy, life inside the Islamic Caliphate was unbearable.
Life was terrible in there. We had to carry water from far away, and we ate grass to stay alive. ISIS wanted money to let us leave, but we had no money, and finally, they let us go.
You might think it's crazy for a group of civilians to venture so close to the front lines, but this is no ordinary missions team or a group of tourists. These are highly trained medics and lots of prior military experience here that kind of makes them uniquely qualified to do the kind of work they're doing, addressing that humanitarian gap between the front lines where people are escaping ISIS and the first refugee camps, because there really isn't anything to help those people between those 2 points.
This is what we're made to do. We like it. This is the kind of work we can do. And we're not too afraid of the front line or fighting. And we have the skills, but all of that is only useful and only workable if led by God.
These men surrendered to SDF forces from the conflict area and are suspected ISIS fighters. Be that as it may, they are sick, hungry, and some were wounded. So the FBR team gave them water and medicine, and then Eubank said a prayer.
Lord Jesus, please bless all these men. Let them call on your name. In Mosul, we lost a lot of friends. I was wounded 4 times. I lost my translator. 30 guys I knew well were killed. 3 of my team were wounded. In the face of that, why would we help them? because God sent us, and we know I'm not perfect. Those that'll raise their hand and say, pull me out, I want to pull them out. That's redemption. That's how things change. And this is the first time I said I forgive ISIS. That's God's work in my heart. That's God's work in my heart.
From southern Syria, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Excellent reporting from Chuck Holton. And Pat, thank God for the work of Dave Eubank and his team.
That's remarkable. Well, I understand Chuck was at the point of tears when he saw the suffering that's going on of those people in northern Syria. This was what the Assad regime has done. They've brought it about, and because we have allowed a vacuum to take place, ISIS came into the scene. There was a dispute in the Iraqi forces between the Shias and the Sunnis, and therefore the ISIS people just walked in and took over vast swaths of land. Then we've had to go and clean it up, and we began to fight and claw our way. But, you know, there's a statement that nature abhors a vacuum. And if we move out of that thing, it's going to be tragedy again, because the Turks will come in and try to slaughter the Kurds. And the Syrians will move in. And then the Soviets will come in. And then other people, the Iranians will come in. And my solution has been all along, but I don't know who's going to accept it, is that the Kurds have a working state, a large swath of land in northern Syria and also in Iraq that is called Kurdistan. And, you know, the president could do himself a great deal of good by having a Trump declaration. And the declaration was the Kurdish people, 36 million of them, deserve a homeland, and they're already occupying it. And we think that we should support them. And if we do, with arms and so forth, they will make sure that that area does not come under the control of ISIS or the Syrian government or the Iranians or the Soviets or the Turks. And if we don't do something, there's going to be a vacuum. And believe me, we'll have to come back in. It'll be more bloody fighting. And there'll be a tremendous amount of suffering in the process. Well, we've got something else on the 700 Club.
Fascinating. Coming up, meet a former spy for the CIA.
When the CIA recruited me as an undercover agent, I began a secret life, hiding the truth about my job from friends and family, trusted with some of the nation's most sensitive tasks.
Michelle Rigby Assad is breaking cover right after this.
Michelle Rigby was homecoming queen in Florida, where she grew up. Back then, she never imagined that her winning smile would become one of her most disarming weapons in a world of espionage.
When the CIA recruited me as an undercover agent, I began a secret life, hiding the truth about my job from friends and family, trusted with some of the nation's most sensitive tasks, sent to the most dangerous places in the world, working as a counterterrorism specialist to identify double agents and security threats, running from rockets in the middle of war zones. Told I couldn't possibly succeed because I'm a woman. Clinging to my faith to get me through.
Her book is called Breaking Cover, Michelle Rigby Assad, My Secret Life in the CIA and What It Taught Me, and it's available wherever books are sold. And here she is with us. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Pat.
How does a former homecoming queen wife in the CIA? What happened?
Oh, you know, I never dreamed of being in the CIA because I didn't even know that was a real job.
Yeah.
But I had a passion for foreign affairs, and I was able to go abroad on mission trips as soon as I graduated high school, and one little baby step after the other, and I started developing an expertise on the Arab world. And so eventually I got recruited out of Georgetown University.
Will you speak Arabic fluently?
Yes, not fluently, but.
All right, you joined the CIA. How did you get into the CIA?
Yeah, so it's fascinating because before September 11th, which is when this occurred, it was hard to get into the U.S. government as an Arab expert.
Yeah.
And then September 12th, of course, they were scouring the United States for people like my husband and myself. But we had already just gotten into the agency, gone through that very long vetting process to get in, which is extensive. And then we were brought in as to be undercover counterterrorism officers.
Well, did you go to the farm and go through all that training there?
Yes, sir.
Well, you had to go through all that.
Yes, indeed.
And you learned weapons training and physical.
Yeah, so you have to take an entire year of tradecraft training to make sure that you can keep your information safe, your sources safe, and of course you and your colleagues safe as you carry out these clandestine operations.
Well, they sent you to Egypt. Now, when you got to Egypt, you didn't tell people, I'm working for the CIA. What did you say?
So I actually didn't go to Egypt for the agency, but all my studies were in Egypt.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did you go with the agency?
I'm allowed to say that I served in Iraq, and that's the only place I'm allowed to actually acknowledge. The rest of the locations are secret.
Oh, they're secret?
Yes.
They still don't want anybody to know about it?
Indeed, but we spent a full 10 years in the region.
Well, you were in Iraq, and what was your cover in Iraq?
We basically, I can't talk about cover issues.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
And if I do, I'd have to kill you, and we don't want to do that.
Please don't do that.
No, but it was a very intense year in Baghdad because it was 2006 to 2007.
Okay.
So as you recall, that was a great surge.
Yeah.
And so we were working very hard to try to protect Iraqi government and U.S. government and coalition forces and from being targeted by both terrorists and insurgents there. So it was a 12, 13, 14-hour day job.
Yeah.
It's very exhausting.
Well, you were an exhausting, not only exhausted, but you were supposedly a walking contradiction. What was that?
Yeah, so it's fascinating when the CIA is looking to hire people. They're looking for people who are honest, yet you are being asked to go out and tell a lie by having a cover that says one thing when you're doing another.
Okay.
They want people who love their country, but you're essentially being asked to move abroad and leave everything behind.
Yeah.
Your family, friends, your country. And so they're looking for these people with these great contradictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your husband, what's his expertise?
Oh, Joseph is really fascinating. He is a Christian from Egypt who came to the United States to get his college education when he was denied that education for his Christian activities in Egypt.
In Egypt. But now, of course, he speaks Arabic fluently.
He's a native Arabic speaker, and what's so fascinating about his background is he's from a part of Egypt from which the roots of terrorist ideology come from. So he grew up with kids in high school whose parents were cell members in Jamaat Islamiyah, the precursor to Al-Qaeda. So he was so familiar with this ideology and really, suffered as a minority in that part of the world, but knew exactly what he was dealing with.
Now, again, I don't want to impose on secret stuff, but you were tasked with recruiting agents, or whatever you call them, spies in the midst of that milieu. Tell us about that.
It's such a fascinating process because what you're doing is you're trying to recruit someone who thinks you're the enemy.
Yeah.
And you're an American, you're CIA, you are an intelligence officer, and you're an infidel. So how do you get these penetrations of terrorist groups to partner with you? And they're risking their lives to do it, to give you the insider information you need to stop terrorist attacks from occurring. So you have this huge bridge that you've got to get across in order to make this connection with this guy who's a very unwholesome individual.
Yeah, okay.
And so being able to make that connection is a very interesting process because you've got to establish some modicum of trust, you have to establish your bona fides, and as a woman, you have an extra added challenge of getting them past the gender issue.
How did you do it?
Ooh, Emotional intelligence.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's that?
So it's being able to understand where that person's coming from.
Okay.
So I had to understand his ideology, his worldview, his ideas of women, and I had to challenge them directly. And so I had to show these guys, these insurgents, that I'm intelligent, I understand you and your culture. And then once I had these conversations with them, I was recruiting them to be my partner.
Well, he didn't know you were CIA. Well,
so they did at that point. They knew we were CIA.
Oh, he did know you were CIA.
Yes.
So he knew you were recruiting him.
Yes. Oh, he knew that they knew they were being pitched, or they knew they were talking to the CIA at that point.
What was the come on? What would bring him in from what he's doing to working with us?
That is such a good question. A lot of them just want money, want to get paid because it's a war zone, it's a non-functioning economy. Some of them no longer buy into the ideology anymore.
Okay.
They have had it. I don't believe this. Some of them are in it because they want to off their competition.
Oh.
And they want to become the big terrorists, but they pretend like they're doing good. So they have a variety of motivations that bring them in to work with the CIA. And I always say, I don't care what the motivation is, but I have to know what it is, because then I have to work that.
You had to be sympathetic to, you had to understand their ideology.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see them as human beings.
Yeah.
Because if I don't fundamentally understand you as a human being, I'm not going to be able to make that connection.
Well, who did you get? Can you talk about who your client was, or your target?
Bad guys.
The bad. Okay. So you got a bad guy, and he turned, and he was working for us?
Yeah, so it's fascinating because what they're doing is they're saying, look, my group is planning A, B, and C. We're planning to carry out a car bomb attack, or here's the location of our safe house where we keep our weapons. And so they would give you this information. Then we would package it, disseminate it to the intelligence community, and that would enable our special forces brethren to action those targets.
So you actually, was the only once that you did that, or many times?
Constantly.
Constantly?
Yeah, and what's so fascinating about working in a war zone is everything is it's like on speed. It goes so quickly, and so car bomb 1 hour, next hour it's a IED buried in the road, and then 2 hours later you're dealing with a safe house location. So it's just constant. And it's fascinating.
And these guys would tell you all of these things. There's an IED at checkpoint so-and-so.
Right. But you have to be so careful, because you also don't want to release information that's going to put them in danger.
Sure.
Because if they're identified as the source of the information, they'll be killed. So they have to trust you that you know how to handle their information securely, and you're not going to get them killed.
Well, they were turned off by the ideology or the brutality of the terrorists?
Sometimes they were, some of the guys. And some still bought into the terrorist ideology.
Was there anything noble about what they thought?
A few of them had really noble motivations. There were a couple that we worked with that said, I've been a terrorist for years.
Yeah.
I've been blowing people up and killing others, and I feel so empty inside, and I don't like this feeling, and I realize I've been used by this terrorist organization. And I'm not doing it anymore.
Were you able to share the Christian faith with any of them, or did you try? That
Unfortunately, no. We weren't in a position to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But you just hope that your interaction with someone who's assuming you're a Christian is going to be planting some seeds.
Well, what did you finally get out?
Ooh, we were exhausted.
Were you?
So this is 10 years being abroad, not getting to see your family very often. Mm-hmm. You're missing out on life. You're working holidays, weekends, constantly. And so you can only do that for so long before you're burnt out.
And you were just exhausted.
Yeah, we were exhausted. Plus, I heard the call of God to write this book.
Okay.
And to share our story to inspire others.
You have to get this vetted through the CIA?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Indeed.
Yes, but a whole lot of it, or
just a few things.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what they actually let you say.
Okay.
Yeah. They allowed me to really open up this secret world for people to see what it's like on a daily basis to be a counterterrorism officer.
How's the book going? Is it successful?
Fabulous.
Is it
yes.
really?
Yeah, and it's so exciting to watch because after being undercover, I had no social media. I had no social platform, and I was kind of an unknown. So for the book to come out and do so well, it's a huge blessing.
Well, we appreciate you writing it and being here. Breaking Cover. There's one movie called Breaking Bad. This is Breaking Cover. It's available wherever books are sold. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat.
God bless you. It's been fun talking to you.
Indeed.
All right. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. A CIA undercover operative for 10 years in the Middle East in the midst of the war zone. Unbelievable. Terry, would you like to do that?
I think I'm good, actually. Well, we've got another fascinating story for you. Still ahead, a husband gives his cheating wife an ultimatum.
I basically told her, I love you. I want our marriage to work more than anything else in this world. But this relationship with him is over, and don't ever speak to him again.
Watch what happens when she refuses to give up her lover after this.
Welcome back to Washington for this CBN News Break. Republican lawmakers in Ohio are once again proposing a pro-life bill outlawing abortion after a fetal heartbeat is detected. But unlike in years past, the state now has a governor who says he'll sign the measure into law. The heartbeat bill was twice vetoed by former Ohio Republican Governor John Kasich, who said it would end in costly legal battles. But after new Governor Mike DeWine voiced his support for the measure, 2 Republicans introduced the bill back into the House, with 50 co-sponsors joining in. That's a majority of the Ohio House. Well, Pakistani Christian Asia Bibi reportedly can't leave Pakistan despite her asylum offer in Canada. Bibi spent 8 years on death row after being convicted of blaspheming Islam's prophet Muhammad. The Supreme Court overturned that conviction and later rejected a bid to have that ruling overturned. She was supposed to head to Canada to join her children. Instead, Bibi and her husband have been moved to a new supposedly secure area and are locked in a room. Sources told AP that Bibi says she doesn't know when or if she'll get to leave. Well, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Pat and Terry will be back with more of the 700 Club right after this.
Tomorrow, on Valentine's Day, Casey and Lindsay Voss will be celebrating their 14th wedding anniversary. But at one time, Lindsay walked away from their relationship and into the arms of her lover. She was gone for 2 years and filed for divorce. But during that time, Casey never lost hope that one day their relationship would be restored.
The Doss's love story began in youth ministry. Casey was a young preacher, and Lindsay was a gifted dancer in a well-known teen worship and performing arts group.
What I loved the most about Lindsay was she was fun-loving, she was spontaneous, she was easygoing.
And Casey was an incredibly godly man. I thought, oh my goodness, this guy is way out of my league.
They fell in love and married on Valentine's Day in 2005. Casey was 22 and Lindsay 18. A few years later, Lindsay gave birth to 2 girls, and the couple continued to work side by side in ministry. But underneath it all, Lindsay struggled with feeling accepted growing up. Stemming from a strained relationship with her father, Lindsay's suppressed feelings began to surface 3 years into her marriage as she became consumed with her identity as a dancer and her priorities shifted.
I was pouring all of my time into dancing. All of my closest friends were much younger than me. They were just in a different phase of life. You know, I was a wife and a mother, and whenever they, went out to a movie, I wanted to go out with them. And I was going to leave the kids with, Casey, and me go out and kind of live my life and be free.
Lindsay found the extra attention she was looking for in a coworker, which slowly developed into an emotional affair. When the affair was uncovered, Casey gave his wife an ultimatum.
I basically told her, I love you. I want our marriage to work more than anything else in this world. But this relationship with him is over, and don't ever speak to him again. And she said, no, it's not gonna happen.
For me to stay with Casey means I have to give up this. I don't want that, and so I left.
Lindsay moved out and filed for divorce. Although the relationship with her coworker didn't last, she began dating other men. Meanwhile, Casey hadn't given up on their marriage.
But I've got to do the right thing. If for nobody else, my daughters, I want to be able to look at them and say, I did everything I knew to do. I did everything all of these leaders in my life told me to do, and I did. They would tell me, reach out to her, send her this, call her, do, and I did everything they asked me to do. But I never questioned God because I knew God was pursuing and speaking and dealing with her in His way, and then at the end it'd be her decision.
The couple had been separated for 2 years, and the divorce papers were prepared to be signed when Lindsay began to have a change of heart.
And I thought this would be freedom, and I'm not happy. Now, whenever I looked at pictures of Casey on social media, and I would see him with the kids and see him, smiling, thinking, God, I miss that. I miss him.
One morning, she opened her Bible to the story of the prodigal son and allowed God to speak to her heart.
It said, and he came to himself. God reminded him who he was. He reminded him of who he was supposed to be. And he said, I will go to my father's house and say, Father, I have sinned against you. Can I serve, as a servant in your home? And I remember thinking, I would rather be Casey's maid than to live the way I'm living right now. I wanted to be right. I wanted my marriage. I wanted my family. I wanted my husband.
In January 2016, Lindsay reached out to Casey, and they arranged a meeting to talk.
The only thing that gave me hope was when she walked in. I'd never seen that deep of a repentance.
I just want you. I just want to be your wife. I want to be our kid's mother. That's all I want. I'll give up everything. And I said, but I'm sorry. And then he said to me, I don't want you to leave. I want you to stay. And that was it. I should be the one hugging you and kissing you. I should be the one trying to make you feel better. And here you are doing it to me? Why? And knowing, the depth of forgiveness and the depth of love he had for me, I've never seen a more beautiful picture of the love of God, the forgiveness of God.
Over the next few months, the couple began to heal. They went to counseling and agreed on new boundaries to protect their relationship. Today, their marriage is completely restored. They even have a new addition to their family.
Our marriage now, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. She's my best friend. We have a new son. The healing it's brought to our children, the unity, the oneness in our home.
Everything now from the sound of his Pepsi can opening at the house. That's the most beautiful sound in the world. Of hearing him walk through the living room in the morning. It's the most beautiful sound. There's nothing like it.
The couple lives in Knoxville, Tennessee, where they have planted a church called Hope Unlimited. Lindsay shares a detailed account of their story in her book called The Way Home. Now, when the Dosses celebrate their anniversary on Valentine's Day, they are reminded of love that forgives and restores.
Only God did it, and Valentine's Day is where I celebrate His faithfulness. I look at my family and I think, I don't need anything else in the world.
Now it's so far beyond, just an anniversary. It's the celebration of life in the same way that it's a celebration of love. And it's a celebration of God holding true to His word. It's that He is a merciful and forgiving God, that He is willing to take something broken and make it whole.
God is so faithful. He is a restorer of the breach. And if you're struggling in your marriage today, we have information we'd love to send you from the Word of God, and we'd love to just pray with you today. The information is called Love and Marriage. Ask for it when you call our toll-free number. It's 1-800-700-7000, and the friend who answers the phone would love to pray with you today. Well, still ahead, your questions and some honest answers. Elba asks, Pat, do you think the events in the book of Revelation have already come to pass? Or do you think those events are still in the future? Stay tuned. Pat's going to answer that.
You are watching the 700 Club, and we're delighted you're with us today. And I want to tell you about a story about a young boy in Peru who was blinded by juvenile cataracts. And he said to his mother, Mom, I just want to die. She was devastated, especially because she had no money to pay for that relatively simple surgery which could restore her son's sight.
For the past 5 years, Vieri has been totally blind from juvenile cataracts. He depends on his mom for everything.
I couldn't go anywhere alone because I stumbled and fell.
Vieri said he missed school the most. He's now years behind his former classmates.
I quit school because I couldn't even see the letters on my notebook. I thought maybe it would be better if I was dead.
When he told me that he wanted to die, I felt so much pain in my heart. What kind of mother am I? I can't even get surgery for my own son.
Then Elena took Vieri to a free CBN eye clinic in Peru. There, doctors diagnosed the problem and took him into surgery to remove the cataracts and put new interocular lenses into his eyes. But it would take 24 hours before anyone would know if the surgery had restored his sight. The next day, the surgeon removed the bandages and encouraged Vieri to open his eyes. That's when he saw everything, including his mom, for the first time in 5 years.
I am so happy that I can see my mom. Thank you, CBN, for fixing my eyes.
Thanks, CBN, for giving light to my son's eyes and let him be a normal boy again.
Isn't that amazing? We can supply interocular lenses for about $90. $90. How much is sight? What would you pay if you were blind and somebody said, I can give you your sight back? How much would you pay? Well, you say there's no amount of money that I could think of. Everything I've got, I'd pay. $90. And that little boy can see. Isn't that marvelous? I mean, we can give sight to people. I was over in Kazakhstan and talking to the lady there. They had so much. The Russians were blowing up nuclear devices in Kazakhstan, and there was a tremendous amount of this problem with these eyes. People were going blind, and I said, look, we can give you an interocular lens for $90. They said, we can do it for $50, but we don't have the $50. I mean, it was that simple, what can be done to give somebody sight. Well, anyhow, we have something that I think it's really special to me because it does something for you. This is the I wills of God. I mean, this will transform your life. What God says in the 91st Psalm, he says, because you set your love upon me, therefore I will. Then he begins to tell you the things he'll do, and that they will lift your faith and bless you. So not only can you help somebody else, but this will help you. This is the I wills of God, and we'll send it to you as our gift to you when you help us help others. Terry.
I want to share with you what Iona from Pittsburgh, Texas said, because she has received her DVD and watched it. She said, The I Wills of God is one of the best DVDs I've ever watched. We all have some fear. It's always good to be reminded to answer fear with Scripture, and Psalm 91 is one of my favorite ones. Well, so, Iona, we're so glad you enjoyed that.
God bless you. Okay, we got some questions.
We do have some questions. Okay, you ready?
All right.
This is Elba, who says, Pat, do you think the events in the book of Revelation have already come to pass, or do you think these events are still in the future?
Well, the book of Revelation was to deal with the Roman Empire and the things that were happening to the Christians in those days. And you remember there was a message to the churches of Asia, which is Turkey. And they were telling them to hold fast and that this is the revelation of God to you. So those things were actually taking place before them, but some of them are futuristic. And the question is, we don't really have a theology of what's called eschatology yet, of exactly what's going to happen. There's a dispute about it. The church has never come down with a definitive statement of what it wants. But there are things in there that'll give us teaching, things about how we should live. And but that's what I'm telling you about. All right, what else?
Okay, this is Hugh, who says, if someone claims to be a Christian or even believes in God, how can they belong to or support a candidate of a political party that supports abortion? Will God judge them for murder?
Well, I'm not going to get into whether God's going to judge them, but the truth is, yes. There was, you've had many Christians. I mean, I think Jesse Jackson was one, for example. He was a strong pro-life Christian, and then in order to curry favor with the left, he changes his mind. You have a number of people who are politicians who've done that. And this, we were talking the other day about that partial birth abortion. It is an abomination what's happening. And the governor of Virginia is one who said when you have a partially aborted fetus and you keep him comfortable, you decide whether you're going to murder him or not. I mean, it was a horrible thing to say. But, you know, so what do you do about that? I mean, I'm not talking about God's judgment. There's no question that this amounts to murder, and I think we should decide what we're going to do in relation to that. All right.
Yeah, this is Chet who wants to know, is Turkey or Russia Gog from Revelation?
Well, you got Ezekiel, Gog and Magog, and that wasn't the nation of Turkey, was the old-fashioned Gog. Gomer is Turkey, and, you know, Gog and Magog. So it seems like that was what it was, from what I can tell. But, you know, people differ in terms of their interpretation. Well, today's Power Minute is from 1 Peter. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Thanks for being with us. Tomorrow, we've got the real St. Valentine. You don't want to miss it. For Terry and all of us, this is Pat Robertson. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.